And I've been writing a story for a while now, and Adi asked me to read some of it. It's called Legend. It's a fantasy, and it's about this boy. His name is Cadmar. Kind of weird name. But he lives with his father and Axel, and their village is attacked by wolves, and Cadmar is the only survivor. And this man named Avery, who sent the wolves to attack the village, he's trying to rule the world. And he did this because he knew that Axel was the only one that could stop him. But now Cadmar is going to try and stop him, but of course he can't do it without God. So this is just the very beginning of the story, so it doesn't go into too much. Cadmar awoke and got up from the ground and made his way out of the house. He walked outside and saw his father Axel sitting on a log and cutting wood. Axel looked up at Cadmar and smiled. Cadmar smiled back and started to help him by putting a new log on the table every time Axel would cut one. "So what are you going to do today?" Axel asked. "I was thinking of practicing my sword fighting," Cadmar answered. "Okay, be careful," Axel said. Cadmar walked over to the edge of the woods and began hitting his sword against a tree. Axel sat up from the log he was sitting on. A man dressed in leather armor and holding a long spear came running over to Axel. He stopped right in front of him, but didn't say anything because he needed to catch his breath. "What is it, soldier?" Axel asked the man. The soldier spoke, breathing heavily. "I have a report from my patrol." "Yes?" Axel asked. "Sir, I saw a gray wolf in the woods," the soldier explained. "What?" Axel asked. "We need to tell the chief." Axel and the soldier walked up to a large wooden building and knocked on the door. The chief of Jasnia stepped out of the building. He was very old, probably in his 90s. He had a long gray beard and a very odd-looking hat on his head. He closed the door behind him, linked his fingers over his stomach, looked into Axel's eyes and said, "What is troubling you, Axel?" "It is this guard. On his patrol, he saw a gray wolf in the woods," Axel explained. "Well then, it looks like the time has come. Shall we prepare for battle?" the chief said as he calmly walked back into his house. Cadmar overheard the conversation from behind the chief's house. He walked around the side, went up to Axel, and asked, "Dad, why do we have to fight wolves? We have never had wolves in these woods before." "I think it is time I told you everything about the Great War. As you know, Avery and I were both in the war and had an allegiance with the king of Santonia. But he betrayed us and put Avery into prison. While I was left behind in Ain because Avery was protecting me. When I broke Avery out of prison, he got his revenge on the king of Santonia. Then something inside him changed. He then came after me, but when I defeated him, he left with a threat. He said, 'Mark my words, Axel, you will pay for this. The wolves will come.' Then Axel added, and then he left, and I have not heard from him since. So I guess this is it, his revenge." Okay, now I'm going to read a couple verses. Romans 8, 38 and 39. "For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord." And basically the point of this story is that God is always with us and always loves us.